Hi, I'm Pete Calhoun. I'm on an architectural adventure to find some of the best design hotels anywhere in Australia and New Zealand. As an architect, this is the dream gig. Welcome to Hotels by Design. Our group of industry design leaders have gathered via Zoom to judge each hotel on originality, aesthetics, sustainability and service.
I think with this array of projects, we have the opportunity to really look within our own backyards as where we may think to go for our next holidays.
Our judges will determine which design hotels from each episode will go through to the final, and ultimately, which hotel will be crowned winner of the series.
I'm in just absolute awe of all these projects and all the different ideas, and my mind is completely blown.
So far, 3 spots have been filled in our top 10, and this episode offers up some more strong contenders.
Sapphire Tasmania, I've never been there, but this is one reason I would go to Tasmania. What a beautiful setting. You've got all these curves and it just fits so nicely into the environment.
Being a furniture person, looking at the furniture is also quite an exciting thing for me to see, and they haven't really worried about the expense and they've really invested well in design and quality.
Tasmania's Freycinet Peninsula is iconic, and amongst all this incredible beauty, you will find a slice of design heaven, a super luxury lodge so stunning, it's even been crowned the world's best boutique hotel. As you arrive at Sapphire, the view's actually quite hidden, but there's an amazing sense of anticipation.
You know what you're coming towards, but you can't see it. And then there's hints, increasing that sense of, oh, wow, we're here, finally.
Wow, how about this?
Indeed, it is about a poetic experience, about bringing the nature inside and that dialogue between built form and natural forms, and this organic roof structure lifts in the middle. So it's almost like a crown that comes out, and so you can actually see the view framed by this undulating curve. The roof structure is the big technical issue to be solved here. It's celery top pine that actually took 3 months for carpenters to actually install that in place. It is how you build poetic forms with timber.
Bit of disclosure here, I did have a little bit of a hand in the design and the running of this place, but don't let that influence you. It's such a warm and inviting interior, but as you look around, you get this sense of classic luxury, but then sort of organic Tasmanian materials. This isn't a bad chopping block.
This one would probably be 2,000 years old. It's hewn pine. You can actually see by the quality of the rings.
Yeah.
It's one of Tasmania's iconic timbers, mixed up with eames lounges. That sort of quality is what we wanted to express in the design of this place. When you're looking down from above, you can see that there's these organic forms that sort of relate to the views as well. So the pictures of the roofs are designed to look like waves, and that sort of feeling of coastal reserve is explored in the buildings in relation to the nature.
Sapphire is so exclusive, it only has 20 suites. Let's take a sneak peek at one of their top-of-the-line rooms. Oh, wow. And how about this for a room? And like the rest of Sapphire, it's all designed around encapsulating this incredible, stunning view.
We like to think that we give the gift of time to our guests. All they need to worry about is to sit back and just enjoy their time with us. And the food plays such a huge part of what we do here. It's really that paddock to plate experience that the guests get here. You know, we have Rob, who supplies our honey that's made here on site. We have also our oyster farm up the road with Giles and Julia. And then there's even a local squid fisherman who literally pulls up at the back door with his boat and drops off fish unannounced.
At the end of the day, Sapphire really is a slice of design heaven right here on Earth.
If you'd like to know more or book any of the hotels, resorts and lodges featured in the series, go to hotelsbydesign.com or scan the QR code on the screen.
So the art series hotels have a very specific intent. They choose an artist and that artist's work is very dominant in that hotel.
This is a really good hotel that has a strong concept. Their approach to creating an art hotel has been really well thought and crafted throughout the space.
What do you get when you cross a dynamic piece of engineering with a sensitive piece of architecture? Oh, and throw in one of Australia's most passionate leading artists with a little bit of mystery thrown in, you get a creative tale of truly Hollywood proportions.
So we are the 8th art series property to open and based here at Brisbane's new entertainment and lifestyle precinct, Howard Smith Wharves.
And being part of the art series, this is a real handshake between the landscape, architecture, and of course the art.
That's right, and art series properties do exactly that. So taking inspiration from our namesake artist, Vincent Fantuzzo, every piece of work throughout the hotel is his. Now, Asha was heavily involved in the curation of the works, and I think if you were to ask her where any piece was within the hotel, she would be able to tell you.
It's very tricky when you display art not to confuse the art and the environment. Like a gallery generally has white walls. In there, they played with colour, they played with textures, but still managed to highlight the artwork. So I was really pleased that we could work together in that way.
I'm standing in front of the Heath Ledger portrait, and you've also got it over your shoulder. Tell us about this incredible work of art, mate.
This painting for me was a real game changer. I do portraits because I love to meet people and learn from them. Heath was such an inspiration and this incredible charisma. I've just been thinking recently about revisiting a project I did, 30 portraits in 30 days of New Yorkers, so one portrait a day. They're up on, I think it's level 6.
I'm heading there now.
The idea we had was getting to know the city and the people through portraiture, so I have an excuse to kind of stalk New York. Behind every painting is a story.
So Vince, this hallway is incredible. Where do you suggest I head to next?
I think we should go to one of the cliff drop rooms.
Righto, let's have a look.
It's a real surprise, and when it rains, it's like a waterfall going down that cliff. It's really incredible.
If you come and stay here, you often sit here with a watercolour?
Yeah, I actually do. In each room, there's a little painting kit.
Don't get me started.
When I'm staying in a room, I do a little paint and I leave it in the room, and I just think, oh, I wonder if they'll know it was mine or not.
Well, I'm having a look, mate, and I hope you've signed it. I'm heading into your namesake suite.
This room consists of a lot of my favourite artworks. I think Baz Luhrmann's up there on the wall.
Baz is looking at me over the bed.
Someone posted a picture of them in their underwear jumping on the bed. So I sent it to Baz, and he's like, I did not approve this. You shouldn't have to go and find art in a gallery. You know, you should be able to experience art even if you're not in the art world. So I hope that the hotel and the paintings inspire people to be creative.
Yeah, a designer destination to be proud of, mate. Well done.
The Duke of Marlborough is in the beautiful Bay of Islands, which is an iconic travel destination within New Zealand. The rich history is just layered within the rooms, from the beautiful motifs to the tartan seating and the charming art.
They say when the Duke's doing well, Russell's doing well.
Welcome to the hellhole of the Pacific.
It was called that, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was a pretty rough town in the 1830s, lot of whalers.
This is the first place they sold grog in New Zealand.
Yeah, I mean, there's always a big argument in New Zealand amongst the pubs, but you can go along and see the licence. It's got number 1 written right on it. There was a saying at the time that someone was as rich as the Duke of Marlborough, who was at the time the richest man in the world. The fact there was a little tin shack with sawdust on the floor, that's just the power of marketing, isn't it?
This is what this room's all about, is the view. We've tried to keep it quite toned down and just make it about this, and it sells itself as soon as we bring people up here. They're like, yep, we want this one.
I was struck by this motto that sits above the bed.
It was a shield that we took and we sort of changed it up a little bit. So they've got the little blue penguin and then it's got some whaling tools in there, and also Korerakaka, which is the original name of Russell.
And why is the blue penguin yellow?
Well, the original thought was that the yellow penguin would then match the tartan cushion covers on the chairs. They were actually originally in the hotel when we bought it 10 years ago. So we have, if we can, tried to sort of reuse or recycle.
So, Lloyd, you were the architect involved in the renovations to the Duke.
It was in 2 stages. Stage 1 was the street, reimagining the facade, adding a second story, adding a veranda on the second story, and giving it a grand entrance.
And the second stage was adding the wing to the back.
Yes, we filled in effectively what was a U shape to the original form of the building, and we added 13 rooms, 13 guest rooms on 2 levels. We were very keen for it to be its own thing, although obviously related, but you would look at both parts of the building and you'd be able to see that there's subtle differences.
So 10 years ago, you saw the Duke was on the market. Why did you decide to buy a hotel?
Well, we were all up here on holiday together and literally having a glass of wine on the deck and realised that it was for sale. 18 months later of spreadsheets and ideas as to how we could do it together, and we are still here.
We also came up quite a lot during a year of negotiations, and during that whole time, it didn't rain once. So it was a bit of a surprise when the very first day, taking people's bags up to the room, and I stumbled across 25 buckets in the hallway, slowly filling with water, which the staff had just got used to this process and they thought it was normal. For me, I just felt like Basil Fawlty, taking these suitcases into a room thinking, I hope their bed's dry.
She has had a rough ride, but she's looking fantastic now, and we're all really proud of what we've done.
You know what I've enjoyed about staying at the Duke? It's layered in New Zealand history. It's all around you. It's been serving rascals and reprobates since 1827, and it's still doing it today. Cheers.
Daintree Eco Lodge, World Heritage listed and believed to be 180 million years old. This is a resort where I think you can really get in touch with our ecosystem.
You're nestled in the treetops, you feel like you're part of nature. It really has a sense of calm and an oasis that attaches to that space, which is really quite unique as a hotel proposition.
Far North Queensland, beaches, island resorts, but it's also a tropical rainforest. Designing resorts for an environment like this takes a delicate touch. So what do guests do here?
Well, to be honest, Richard, as little or as much as they like. We're in such a beautiful location that guests can either come and have a complete digital detox and immerse themselves in the rainforest, or get out and about and do the many activities that this area has to offer. Guests can experience things like reef trips, cultural tours, guided walks, bird watching, all sorts of activities. We've got the beautiful kingfisher that comes down at breakfast. We'll keep an ear out for the wampu pigeon while we're...
The wampu?
The wampu pigeon. So, Richard, this is one of our rainforest bayards.
I feel like I'm immersed in the rainforest already.
Absolutely. That's exactly how the rooms have been designed. Our rooms are completely screened, so guests can actually leave the doors completely open.
Yeah, the cross ventilation, I can feel it right now.
Yeah. So very rarely do guests ever need to put an aircon on. It's all beautiful, natural ventilation. This is my favourite part of the room though, the beautiful bath on the balcony. So you can sit out here, have a nice cup of tea or a glass of wine, listen to the sounds of the birds and immerse yourself in the rainforest.
And there's no TV?
No TV and no Wi-Fi.
No Wi-Fi?
No, our rooms have been specifically designed to have a complete digital detox. Stay with me, Richard. Don't worry, we have Wi-Fi down in our main lodge, so you can still stay connected. But while you're here in the canopy bayards and enjoying your time in the rainforest, it is a real relax and reset. That's what we... Can you hear that? Wampu.
Sounds like a real person.
It does.
Before us with our local produce.
Yes.
Cheers.
Thank you.
Welcome.
Paul, I've read a lot of reviews about this place, and a lot of it's about the food.
Yes, it is. We try to be as sustainable and use as much local produce as we possibly can here. That's one line caught cold trout, and that's one table lamb's lamb. Enjoy.
Thanks, Paul.
Thank you.
So, Jodie, this is sustainably sourced?
Absolutely. All of our produce within the kitchen is sourced locally and from sustainable farms or local line-caught fish like this coral trout. But our sustainability efforts don't stop within our restaurant. They also go through to the rooms and the rest of the property. So within our accommodation, we've removed all single-use plastics. We provide guests with reusable water bottles so that they can take them out during the day when they're adventuring. Our goal is that we want this beautiful location and rainforest to be here for generations to come and experience and enjoy. We have guests that come here because sustainability is the heart of our ethos, and then we have guests that come here because it's just an amazing environment.
There's nothing wrong with that.
Absolutely.
Back when they designed these bayons, the brief was less is more. Less about making statements and more about the immersion in the rainforest. And I think they've got it just right. The Marlborough Lodge is a wonderful hotel that's been sympathetically restored. Its attention to detail, again, is quite beautiful. Very well designed, simplistic, but still quite luxurious.
It's not often in this country that you find a historic building that's been turned into a hotel, let alone one where they've taken such extraordinary effort to move an amazing old house onto a garden like this.
So the building that you're currently sitting in was built in 1901. It was a Catholic convent, which was based 10 minutes away from here. When it was purchased by a Dutch couple, they cut it up into 5 pieces and popped it on a truck and moved it on out here and turned the 19 small nuns' rooms of the original convent into a 4-bedroom B&B. At that time, it was just farmland. There was nothing here.
So all those beautiful trees have come in since the building has been here.
That's right. The vision has always been to create a very grand New Zealand country home. Now they've turned into 10 rooms. They're all slightly different and they all have their own personality. So this is the Kingfisher Suite. So as you can see, it's got some really unique, beautiful features like the vaulted ceiling.
It's just beautiful, look at that.
And the arched windows. So this was the chapel within the convent, and a lot of these features that you see are original from that time. And as we come out here, you get this amazing vista over the property. And then we come into the Kiwi room.
Okay, this is beautiful. Yeah, right. A little bit more standard, you know, in terms of size and scale, but it's still really lovely and inviting and intimate, and quite the amazing bathroom.
Quite.
This is incredible.
Yes, this is the best bathroom in the house. We bought the chapel here 5 years after the main building. Originally, it was used as a wedding chapel.
So it wasn't part of the original kind of complex of buildings that got moved out separately?
That's right. No, it actually came from a completely different area. So this came from Grovetown, which is 5 minutes in this direction, and they did the same thing. They put it on a truck and brought it on out.
You've added a bar. I love it.
Look, it was in quite good condition, but it needed some love and a large checkbook.
And the fact that you've kept the real heritage elements pretty true, like that staircase.
Yeah, so it's a Cowrie staircase, and it's probably the most historic part of the building.
I hear people wanted to paint it.
People did want to paint it, and then I was sort of like, well, no, hold on. We have to keep as much as we can, keep the integrity of it. And in the evening, I love to get out around the fireplace because I think it's fantastic to sit around there with a crackling fire, with timber off the property, and talk to other guests and share stories. I think it's a great opportunity, and then the chapel bar is very close to that, so that's handy too.
Very convenient.
Very convenient. Yeah, absolutely.
I can see now why there aren't that many of these places around. It's a beautiful old building, but the amount of work required to bring it up to a modern lodge standard is just incredible. But boy, when you do, the result is magic.
Which hotel from the series do you think should win? Vote for your favourite hotel in the Queensland Australia People's Choice Award. Just by casting your vote, you could win the ultimate Queensland holiday with flights included. Just go to hotelsbydesign.com or scan the QR code on the screen and cast your vote. Good luck.
It's time to reveal which design hotels our judges have chosen to go through to the final. And only one has been chosen from this episode. Sapphire Tasmania.
I'm thrilled that Sapphire's made it through. I knew it would. There's been a lot of time, energy and thought that's gone into it.
Sapphire stood out for many different reasons. The design, the architecture, the service.
It's absolutely no surprise that Sapphire made it through to the final. And I think architecturally it's going to stand the test of time.
How our judges decide these things, I just do not know. This Fantuzzo, though, a really creative exploration into the mind of a true artist. I hope you can join us next time, though, on Hotels by Design.
So this is pretty brown.
Like brown, actually?
What an amazing view.
But of course, this is the hero.
Sure is.
If you'd like to know more or book any of the hotels, resorts or lodges featured in the series, go to hotelsbydesign.com.